Welcome to You and Your Money. I'm Jim Zahansky, Principal Managing Partner and Chief Goal Strategist at WHC Strategic Wealth Advisors. Let's dive into today's topic. And so this is one of those things, right? I mean, if you're someone who's listening this morning who is thinking about, well, I'm about to retire. What am I going to do? Do I have enough resources? Do I have enough money? Retire and Locate is a simple strategy that sort of says, hey, I am going to if I live in Connecticut, as an example, because most of the listeners are probably there, I'm going to retire. I'm going to leverage the equity I might have in my house. And, if you live in Connecticut, it's a fairly expensive area to live in the U.S. And I might leverage all that equity I have in my house and what I built here, and I might relocate to a lower cost area and leverage that sort of buildup of wealth in my home and property, and buy something a little bit less expensive and live in an area that's a little less expensive. And it's a way to sort of, it's a strategy that allows you to use that equity to live somewhere else at a lower price. I
knew a couple years ago, they both retired. They were teachers, they were educators, they had their pensions, and they're retired. They worked hard to get to that point, and they ended up moving to Florida, and they said, hey, we did the numbers. We got a $15,000 a year raise by moving from Connecticut to Florida.
Right, because and that's a perfect example, right? You're sort of getting away from the state income tax in that scenario, and you're going to a place that doesn't have one. And that's the premise, and a key to the financial component of this, which is, you have to obviously evaluate, Gary, the current living situation, your current expense base, and your future income when you do that, and then evaluate an area that A, you'd want to be in, but B, it has to be less expensive for this retire and relocate strategy to really work for you.
All right. So again, we've heard of these examples. This obviously makes some sense, financial sense, not that hard to figure out. But again, drill down more. How significant can the financial impact of this strategy be? I just gave you a personal example here, but what else?
I think if you use the averages in this scenario, which we've sort of looked at using retirement data and what the Federal Reserve publishes, et cetera, it can be, depending on where you live. I think you'd want to. It could be as high as on average of about $100,000 difference.
Wow.
And so if you and let's just say you had a house in Connecticut, you've got a $300,000 home, you have no mortgage going into retirement, you sell that and you buy something for $250,000 or $200,000, you can automatically see the difference in how much you'd sort of put into your retirement nest egg using this strategy right there.
Let's continue to drill down on the main benefits of retire and relocate, the main benefits of that approach.
Yeah, the first piece, obviously, and I just spoke of it, is it does increase the amount of nest egg or savings you have to, leverage and live. Because, when you retire, there's an emotional component from people that says, hey, I don't have to work anymore. And then there's sort of a reality, too, which is I also now have to think about income differently. All the money I've saved, no matter how you've done it, plus Social Security, plus whatever else, if you have a pension, that becomes my income. I'm no longer working for that income, and that has to last you for as long as you live. Mm-hmm. And so this sort of approach, the retire and relocate, builds the nest egg, builds the savings, and then you're leveraging that. So there could be a financial benefit that's really, really important to think about here.
How about downside? Do you see any?
Downsides, this is something you have to think about emotionally as well. So financially might be a reason to do it. And then secondly, you have to say, well, okay, am I okay with, I'll use our example earlier, if I move from Connecticut to Florida, yes, there might be a financial benefit. I could sell my property here, buy something a little less, put some money into my retirement savings, and live a little longer. But am I okay with being away from family? Do I have grandkids? Do I have elderly parents that I need to be near? Those are all real considerations. The other things to think about. What's the lifestyle implication of where you're moving to, right? It's proven that people live longer if that's one of your goals. If you can exercise your mind, am I moving to an area where I can do that? Is there fitness? Is there good health care? Do I have access to that sort of thing? And so those are considerations that could either be pros or cons depending on what you want to achieve. And that's why, to your point, you probably want to think about this from a financial point of view, but also lifestyle and emotion.
So there are obviously a lot to unpack, a lot to think about here. Sounds like a good opportunity for a sit down with you guys, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is always a consideration that you want to think about financially and emotionally, and you want to consider all of the implications of it. So crunching the numbers on this, to your point of, hey, I could get a $15,000 raise if I move from Connecticut to Florida. Well, what are the numbers behind that? Obviously you have to think of the tax implications. You have to think about selling the property. Are there any tax implications on that? So crunching those numbers takes some work, and that's something we obviously model for our clients quite often. We have a lot of clients who look to move. They may retire and relocate, or they may add a second home, or they may rent in retirement. But in either case, it takes some work and see the implication on your retirement income plan.
That was a very good topic. Thank you for all those insights, Jim. We appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome. For more information regarding wealth management and customized financial planning with WHZ Strategic Wealth Advisors, please visit WHZwealth.com. WHZ Strategic Wealth Advisors offer securities and advisory services through Commonwealth Financial Network, member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor. Fixed insurance products and services offered through CES Insurance Agency. They practice at 697 Pomfret Street, Pomfret Center, Connecticut 06259, and 392A Marrow Road, Tolland, Connecticut 06084. They can be reached at 860-928-2341. WHZ Strategic Wealth Advisors do not provide legal or tax advice. The tenured financial services team strives to support clients in achieving their financial life goals while providing absolute confidence and unwavering partnership for life.